So Fitbox was an idea we came up with about 8 months ago, 8 or 9 months ago, when we were trying to find clever ways to compete in the corporate wellness space. So we needed to try and figure out a way to get a service to an audience that couldn't access any sort of mainstream facilities. So we needed to sort of assemble four primary things. Those things were very good fitness or exercise equipment, not even very good commercial grade, commercial quality stuff, coupled to online content, stuff that they can access whenever they needed to, wherever they were, as long as they had a fairly decent internet connection. Try and put all of that together on the basis of a fitness tracking device that would then link to a program. That was what Fitbox was initially designed to be. So it was equipment, it was a program, it was a tracking device, and it was online content. We took all of these things, we shoved them into a high quality package that was visually rich and had people really excited when it was presented to them. And then the idea was that we wanted to get people to connect onto something long term, not just for now or for the next 2 months or anything to that effect. That's kind of where Fitbox was born. So we took our time in developing it and getting our supply chains lined up and getting simple things like the artwork and the content created to the levels and qualities that we certainly felt would be attractive to us. And then took this, assembled the whole product and put it forward onto a number of clients. And these were really exciting opportunities. And on the cusp of these conversations, we were going, damn it, we've done such a good job. You know, we've created something that people would really want. And then bang, Corona hit us. And Corona hit everyone all at the same time. So in the meantime, though, we started looking around and going, well, hang on a second. What's happened? The world's kind of shut down. People can't get to a service that they need to get to, but try and figure out a way that we could use Fitbox to service a nation under lockdown. And why wouldn't you? Yeah. So we took Fitbox, we presented it onto major commercial gym operators. And I said to the operators, well, you're at a point in your evolution now, whether you're there because you've been forced to be there or because you were always on this journey is irrelevant. You're here now, where you're trying to pivot the business to a digital platform. And that's great and it's fantastic. And so far, the things that have been done have been really good. I've seen other operators that haven't done such a great job, but at least they're trying. Everyone appreciates that keeping your members happy when they can't get to your service is important, obviously. Yeah. But if you're going to pivot a commercial operation from a relationship with a customer who pays you for a bricks and mortar experience to now something where they've got to be happy to get the experience on a screen, never lose sight of the fact that that customer always wanted a bricks and mortar experience. That customer will accept what you're giving them on that cell phone screen for now because they know you don't have any real choice. They don't have a choice, and at least you're trying. Sure. But the moment lockdown starts easing up, we, and certainly a number of people, and all anecdotal data coming out from studies so far, would indicate people aren't rushing back into gyms.
I think health clubs got really highlighted during this coronavirus pandemic when the panic hit as a place where hygiene was questioned. Like it or not like it, every time someone uses a piece of kit, the next person that touches it is a risk to whatever the hygiene is of the person before them. And so the world's changed. But I think the issue is that there's probably some dark times ahead for the health and fitness industry. Many of the big chains employed digital change gurus to come in and change things, and probably reluctantly so, because they know it's moving a certain way, but they know what's worked, what creates jobs, hierarchies, all of those things. So it hasn't happened quickly enough. This has now happened, and there has to be a creation of some sort of virtual membership. Otherwise, what goes forward is a question. What does that space look like when they're translating from bricks and mortar to something virtual?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. That in that translation, you've got to maintain the tangible relationship with the customer. The customer's got to have, the customer pays you, gives you money to go to a place to use a set of things. If you've taken the things away and the place away, what is the customer really getting from you? First point. Second point, that customer, and all data would confirm this, now has half the size of a pocket that they had before. That disposable income has now been slashed in half. They can't afford what they could afford before. But
half the size of their pocket, They have a less of an inclination to go to a space where they're going to be communing with people, and they've learned that actually exercising at home, not necessarily using all that kit, not only works, sometimes it works better. So it's a triple whammy for the industry.
We both discovered things about our personal exercise routines, and we're both equally crazy about exercise, so we understand it. But our personal exercise routines have changed forever. I'm one guy, you're another guy, with 13,000 kilometers away from each other. But if anything, that's a yardstick measurement of how the market is responding. The point is this: if you say that my customer who I can no longer get to come to my place to use my things, why would you simply believe that pivoting to digital would position you to keep that customer? Because you've got a number of challenges. The retention of customers is probably the most important metric right now. So how you retain your existing base, how you acquire a new base. And I know you're sitting there going, we're in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Who's even thinking about acquiring gym members? Like who out there is going, I need a gym membership? Well, actually, all anecdotal data, and I'm going to quote it for you, from McKinsey and Company particularly, shows that there's been a remarkable increase in the subscription of physical access in the home environment as opposed to prior to this. They're more active now than they've ever been before. So in summary, what have we got? We've got an audience that has half the money they had before to pay for these services, but we've got 10 times that audience. And I'm just saying 10 times, but the point is, if you look at these things in a pragmatic approach, a positive pragmatic approach goes, actually, there's a market there. So how can I service them? So I took Footbox, went to commercial operators and said, here's a box. It's got some stuff in it. It links to a program. It's all sort of has a starting point and an ending point, and people use this thing, and it's really good, and people enjoy it, and it's priced very well. But I think this box has a place for what you do. So I'm going to use one of our operators locally. They're massive, and I don't need to tell you who they are. And they're going, yeah, actually, we see the value in being able to pivot, but adding an actual thing to that pivot. So everyone that we're going to offer a new type of service to may potentially be receiving a Footbox or a version of Footbox for that. Now, what does a Footbox for commercial operator look like? Doesn't have a tracking device necessarily. Maybe it does for certain operators. Doesn't have a program, doesn't really need to. Does it connect to Footbox's own online content? Probably doesn't, because they're doing a really good job of their own online content. What does it do? Yeah, they do. I mean, Nash, let's be honest. We've known about the Joe Wicks and the Stephanie Sanzos, and I can rattle off 100 other names all over the world who've got hundreds of thousands of followers who've been really successful in the virtual space. The point is, they existed way before Corona happened, way before COVID-19 was even a thing. That's why they have those customers. Those will always be their customers. Now, the bricks and mortar guys are trying to go, oh, we can do that. But yeah, you probably could, but they're not the same customers.
No.
So you're going to have to convert these customers by adding a tangible thing. We've got that thing. We have a supply chain laid out. We're registered in the UK. Obviously, our home base is Cape Town, South Africa. We're about 2 weeks away from Australia. We're looking at opportunities in Singapore and Thailand. So this is probably the right time to go. I know for the rest of 2020, which is probably the most dramatic year in the history of mankind, or modern history of mankind, we are not going to see the same gym member behaviors that we saw before. What can we do right now to either retain our existing base or even potentially acquire new members? Might be at a lower price point, might have a little bit of a capital outlay. Trust me when I say little, I do mean that. But this is the way forward. Break out of that mold, stop thinking the way you were thinking, and go, how can I service this market?
So the practical application is to make the call to the member and to say to them, listen, we've been on this journey with you, supporting you all the way through. We've held your hands. We've cut through the obstacles and run through the walls and all that thing. We're not prepared to drop you now. We want to continue supporting you. So we'll put your membership on hold. Here's a Fitbox. We're going to produce a load of online content, and we're going to continue that journey holding your hand, because we don't care that coronavirus is here. We're going on that journey with you. And if you do that, that's a hugely positive message, which the member can only say, wow, awesome. And that's obviously, look, the numbers, it's about numbers. We're applying this principle.
Absolutely, yeah.
to possibly a large membership who are at risk. So the ability to kind of cut down or reduce the amount of people you're going to lose, increase your retention rate essentially during this period, is going to be, well, it's going to be what is the new normal when this thing dies down and everything balances out.
Absolutely. If you can, as long as you can see the opportunity is, don't make the mistake of thinking, I'll simply create some online content and I'll tell them they need to log on to YouTube at 2 o'clock every Saturday afternoon. That might last for so long. There's going to come a point where people are going to go, this is just not worth my while. Because I promise you now, 90% of them are sitting at home, looking at those debit orders that are lining up for the end of this month, going, can I actually afford that gym membership now that I A, don't have a job, or B, my salary has been cut in half, or C, that do I value fitness and wellness? Absolutely, now more than ever. Absolutely, there's no doubt. So can we as operators, you, me, the big chains, the Insta famous fitness gurus, reach out and get to those members and go, this is how we can help you. That's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do.